What's up, everybody? Welcome to Make Things Tiny. My name is Meg. So, for those of you who are looking to go tiny, your ideal tiny house community probably includes water access, 360-degree views, tons of green space and space between you and your neighbors, enough room for you to park your car, and potentially have a garden on the side of your tiny home. Well, this is the perfect video for you because today we are hearing from Doug. Doug is the owner of Timbercraft Tiny Homes, which is a well-established tiny house community, and now the owner of a brand new tiny house community coming soon in Alabama called Hidden Mountain Tiny Villas. I'm excited for you all to hear from Doug, learn about the inspiration for this community. Make sure you watch to the end because you're going to get a sneak peek of the community. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Let's get into it. Let's find out about this tiny house community coming to Alabama. All right, I'm here today with Doug. Doug is the owner of Hidden Mountain Tiny Villas, which is a new tiny house community in Alabama, and also the owner of Timbercraft Tiny Homes, which is a pretty well-established tiny house company. Thank you so much for being on the channel, Doug. If you don't mind, just talking a little bit about what got you interested in tiny homes and starting this community.
Sure. Well, I've been in new home construction and new home design all my life. Started doing construction work at the age of 15. And really what kind of drew me to the whole tiny house industry was in about 2014 when I was kind of burnt out with the whole contractor world and all of that. And I wanted to do something that I was a little bit more interested in, and also something that was a little bit more. I've always liked design, and something that was that I guess was more related to design and to good design. You know, it's like I always say about homes: when you're building a traditional home, you can waste a lot of space and there's no penalty for it. But when you're building small, there's a real penalty to it. So you have to be real thoughtful about it. And so I was real interested in small design and that kind of thing. So I got in the tiny home industry and kind of right in the infancy, I guess, about the summer of 2014. And there wasn't a lot of wasn't really a marketplace for it. There wasn't really a lot of industry support or anything at the time, but I was real passionate about it, and I've been doing it now for 10 years. Hard to believe, but so that's kind of how I got into the tiny house manufacturing world. So, but what I've noticed through the years is there's always been a lot of interest in tiny homes and tiny living ever since kind of the inception of it in about the mid 2000s. But the there's been several obstacles kind of to the tiny house living, and one of them has been financing. And so for a while there, it seemed like financing was kind of an issue, but that kind of has been resolved. There's been some financing companies that are available that have been able to finance the tiny homes, and so we're actually able to offer mortgages on them up to 23 years. But more recently, it seems like the biggest obstacle to tiny living has been a place to put them and a place to legally live in a tiny home. And so that's what kind of prompted the whole idea of me getting into the tiny home community, is simply because we've lost so many customers through the years, in the last number of years especially, because they want to live tiny, they like our designs, they want to do this, but they can't legally place it where they live, or they don't know if they can, or there's restrictions or this and that. And so I thought, if I can just create a community that makes it to where these are legal and accepted and approved, then we can kind of solve that problem. So that's what kind of got me into it, and started doing some looking around, and ended up finding a piece of property and bought it and did some design, and we're moving forward.
That's awesome. I think that's really great too that you've just, since you've been in the industry for so long, you've been able to sort of see things change and shift and sort of look at the different issues that people are having. And for sure, it's where to put it. There are so many people that I've talked to that would love to go tiny, and they even, they find a tiny house they really like, but they realize that there's nowhere for them to put it. So then they
Hmm.
just sort of like delay or back out of the process. So I could
Hmm.
see where, people could come to you and then be like, oh, well, there's nowhere for me to put it. I'm not going to buy it. So I think that's great that you're solving all of those issues in one place. That helps people out a lot in terms of,
Hmm.
saving them time and money in that research process.
Hmm. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So if someone wanted to like live in your community, can you walk me through that process of like what it's like to sign up? Like, do they already have to have a tiny home? Like, what does that sort of look like?
No, we're doing our tiny home community maybe a little different than some, but we are most tiny homes communities are somewhat exclusive. They only allow certain homes or certain models, certain brands or whatever. But we all the homes that go in this are our homes, and we actually designed a new model
Mhm.
for this community. Um, we have tiny homes in 31 states, including Hawaii, and we've actually shipped overseas to Europe and New Zealand, and we've got them all over. And so when you're shipping that far, there are certain parameters you kind of stay with as far as width and height that make it doable. But since this community is right here in our backyard, I was able to go a little bit larger with the home, not in terms of square footage necessarily, because the ANSI certification for Park Model Tiny Home is still 399 square feet on the main floor. But I was able to go wider and taller with it, which makes the loft space a lot more spacious, and it just gives you overall feeling of a lot more room. And so we have a model that we have two versions of it. It's 545 square feet and 605 square feet with the lofts. And so it's going to be the only model that we're doing in this community. They're all going to be, the similar model. There will be some variations to it. There will be some modifications that we'll do inside, but outside we're going to keep it pretty uniform and symmetrical, I guess you'd say. It kind of keeps the it looking clean and looking, to where we don't get a bunch of different colors. And then you really like this, our tone for this community is black and cedar. So everything is black and cedar. And you might like that. And then your neighbor moves in and he has a bright blue house or something different. So we're kind of trying to keep it muted and keep it, similar. And then we're going to rent the lots with some of the utilities included, and we can go into more of that later. But basically, you're going to buy the home from us, um, and we're going to have probably some inventory, and some will be built to order, and then we will have a delivery and setup charge that will include a lot of things. So we're going to deliver it, set it up, hook up the utilities, build the driveway, do the landscaping, and build a timber frame carport to match the porch of the house and all that. So you're going to get the complete package, completely ready to go, and you won't have to do anything but move in.
And how big are the lot sizes?
The lots are roughly 35 by 90, something like that. I'm not exactly sure how that would translate into
Okay.
acreage. Um, but each one of them is going to have their own
Mhm.
driveway and their own carport, and landscaping, sidewalk, all that will be in place.
That's great because there's more and more people are looking for, lot sizes that are a little bit larger and they
Hmm.
want to make sure that there's space for parking, or if they want to do, landscaping or a small garden or something like that, they
Hmm.
can. So that's good to know. What kinds of amenities are you going to offer? Like how many spaces will be available and what kind of costs will be, what sort of prices for people in terms of the range of things they'll get?
Sure. Well, the community is right across the road from Lake Guntersville, which is a huge lake here in Alabama. It's 69,000 acres, about 1,000 miles of shoreline, lots of fishing and recreation. So the community sits with a lake view. You'll see the water. It's about a half mile to a boat ramp. And then we have lots of boat and RV storage and mini storage within a mile and a half. We have options on that. So it's in a good area. You're about 10 minutes to Guntersville, which is a really nice little southern town, and about 20 minutes to Huntsville, which of course is a quite large, or medium sized city, I guess you'd say.
Mhm.
Um, so as far as the community, it's going to have 24 lots, and we're going to build a pickleball court, a pavilion, and we're going to have a dog park. And then because we own the acreage that goes up the hill, we're likely going to add some hiking trails in there. And then also, one of
Oh,
the
cool.
proposed plans, if we have enough space to do it, is I want to build some little on-site storage units there that'll be, obviously painted nice and trimmed up nice to look like the homes, but they'll be hidden back in the back. But you can also have like on-site storage there. So if we end up having enough space and be able to make that work, I'm going to add that as well. And so the homes that go in there, like I said, they range from about 545 to 605 square feet. They are kind of a premium tiny home. So they're built in they're built a lot better than a lot of them out there, both structurally and also in finishes. So they're closed cell spray foam insulated, so they have very high efficiency. They're going to have real high quality gel windows in them. We have both the vinyl windows as well as the wood clad windows. They're going to, of course, all double pane, low E, and all of that. So they're very efficient homes. And then they're all shiplap inside. There's no sheetrock. The cabinets are all custom built, dovetail drawers, soft close, all the extras there. It'll have real hardwood floors, no laminate or anything like that. It has a fireplace, big vaulted ceiling in the living room, and then it has a bathroom with a tile shower, all included, a nice sized bedroom, and then the upper loft has a closet as well for a bedroom. It also has a big storage area upstairs, and just the fit and finish and everything that we're putting in is a little higher end. It's kind of what we normally build. So the exterior is going to be all black board and bat with cedar trims and cedar accents, black standing seam metal roof, big front porch on it. The porch is about 10 by 12. So the home started at $196,000.
Oh, cool.
And then fully equipped with every option is going to be maybe the 220 range, if you really want to get it all. But the 196 will be for a very well built home with all the appliances, everything included. And then for $16,950, just about $17,000, we will do the delivery, setup, underpinning, utilities, driveways, and the carport. So you'll get a full covered carport, metal roof, timber frame, and everything included, all in, all done for that $16,950.
You said there's a monthly lot rent fee. Is that the case?
Yeah. So the lot rent for the front row facing the lake is $895, and for the back row is $865, which are still going to be lake view because we offset the houses so that you can kind of see through. But and that will include the lot rent, the water, the sewer, the lawn care, and the trash service, and then all the amenities like the pickleball court and the pavilions and all the other site amenities. I was going to say the only thing that people will have to add to that will be the electric. And then we do have high-speed fiber internet in the area as well, too, for those that want to work from home and stuff.
I mean, it sounds like a really good setup because you don't have too many spaces. They're pretty good space apart. You've got tons of amenities with, the lake and all the different community features, even with what you're talking about potentially with hiking trails. Those are some of the things that people are looking for. They really want to make sure that they go tiny, but kind of in like a, they still want to have that like standard community kind of like suburb type of feel. So I think that's really great that you've sort of built out all those features for them. And the design of the home sounds really cool too, like sort of very sleek and modern. And then the sizing even makes sense in my mind because a lot of people are looking for, ironically, like bigger tiny homes. So people really are looking for like a little bit more than what we traditionally consider a tiny house, like 300 square feet or something like that, 200 square feet even for some people. So yeah. Can people move in now? Is it available now, or is it like are you having like a grand opening date, or can people get, like, if someone's watching right now and they're interested, can they essentially like sign up and move in, or is it a bit of a wait?
The community is not open yet. We are pre-selling. We have a show model built, and we have one model in production that will go out there that could be purchased. But we are working on the site work right now. We're doing the roads and the waterways and stuff like that, utilities. So I would say that the first homes will probably go out there sometime in the spring of 2025. So definitely pre-selling, and I think once they start, they'll go pretty quick. But if you want to get on, get in the queue, we can definitely, get you going, get you the contract, and get you the home built. But they will probably not be able to be move-in ready till late spring, early summer of next year.
Okay. That's helpful for people to know. So, I mean, you've been doing this for a while, between, your company for the past 10 years and then doing this tiny house community. What's been the biggest challenge you've experienced in building out this tiny house community?
Well, probably, I guess some of the challenges that I've ran into are just simply challenges of not knowing what I don't know, and so what I did, if
Hmm.
anybody is looking to start a community, um, there are definitely certain places that are easier. Alabama is quite easy, actually. Our state is quite easy to do this, so there's a lot less oversight and regulation. But what I did before I bought the property is I did my due diligence. I contacted the water board that services that area. I contacted the power board that services that area, made sure that they would supply the power and the water and help me with that. And then I also talked to the county engineer, and I talked to an attorney, a real estate attorney, to see what kind of things I might be running into that way and what kind of restrictions they might have and all that. So I kind of did a lot of due diligence first. So far, it has run quite smoothly. We haven't really hit a lot of snags. So by doing my due diligence before I bought the property, making sure it would work, um, it's been pretty easy for the most part. Mostly just kind of time consuming. Things take a lot longer than you think they're going to take when it comes to this, but we do have our sign offs and stuff done. So county approval went quite well. So really now it's just a challenge of getting the work done and working through the obviously the winter weather that we're dealing with, rain and stuff in the south here. But it really has not went. It has not been very difficult so far. So hopefully it keeps running smooth, and hopefully I don't run out of patience before it's all said and done because everything just seems to take a lot longer than you expect it to. But yeah.
I think that's great that you were proactive too. I think that probably saved you a lot of time as well too, making sure that you did your research and knew exactly what you needed to get done and talk to the right people to get things sort of like squared away
Hmm.
sooner rather than later. So I think that's really great too.
Hmm.
Most people that are watching, a lot of like YouTube channels around like tiny homes, and most people that reach out, to people like you with companies or communities don't know much about, tiny houses and they've never bought one before. What would you say to someone who's watching right now that's thinking like, okay, I want to do this, Doug's community sounds like a really good fit for me, but I don't have any idea where to start. What would you say are some of the things they need to keep in mind when making a decision to buy a home and move into a community?
Well, I think that most of the people that come to us have already made a pretty conscious decision that they want to downsize their life and they want to simplify their life. So I think that
Hmm.
that's the biggest thing people need to be prepared for is just I encourage everybody that we talk to, if you get a chance, come to our factory, walk through the homes, and get a feel for this space and make sure you can do this. It's not for everybody. I don't try to oversell it, but it is something you need to make conscious effort. Most of the time, the people that come to us, they've already kind of been down this road for a little while, thinking and planning this way. But that's probably the biggest thing. Is just being prepared to downsize and to live simply and to be able to and plan your time. When you think about um, coming to a community like this, not having to take care of any lawn care, any of that kind of thing, and having such a small house to take care of, you're going to have a lot of extra time probably that you're not expecting to. So enjoy your time and learn to travel, do whatever you need to do. But I think it is definitely a a lifestyle shift for a lot of people when they think of doing something like this, and I think for the most part it's a positive life change.
That's a really good point. I think that's great that people are coming to you with already knowing that they want to downsize. So I think that's really good advice for sure that, to go and check it out and make sure that you can, you understand what the square footage translates into and how much of your stuff you might have to give away or put in storage. And it definitely is a lifestyle shift. I've heard a lot of people say that. So I think that's a really good way to put it. But it's great that you've done so much of the work for them. Like they've got the tiny house, like all set and ready to go. They can choose from the location. You've already answered those questions. You've got options for them for financing. So I think that you are touching on a lot of the different things that prevent people from going tiny. So it's good that you've answered a lot of those questions for them.
Yes, and I wanted to touch on that too. We do have local bank financing for all of these as well. So we do offer 21st Mortgage through, most of you probably are going to be familiar with 21st Mortgage. They're a big mobile home lender that works in the tiny home space, but we also have a local bank, much easier to work with, that will do them. Right now, the terms are 20% down and around 6.5% interest for 25 years. I expect the rates may go down, but that's about what they're doing right now. Very easy to work with, very easy to get approved. So financing will not be a problem for people that are going to need that.
Okay, that's huge. I mean, that is kind of one of the biggest things that people are concerned about, because I do have, people that reach out and they're like, I want to finance a home and I have no idea who to reach out to figure that out. So I think that's great that you have, multiple options for people with a much longer, term for the loan than what we've seen in the past for tiny houses too.
Right.
Well, thank you, Doug. I appreciate you taking the time to chat with me, and I'm excited for people to reach out to you and to learn more about your community and your tiny homes. So links to everything that you're doing will be in the video description. They can reach out and ask questions, hopefully come and take a tour once things are closer to being available for people, and then hopefully find their new home. So yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I know people are going to be really excited about this one.
Thank you very much. And we have a timbercrafttinyhomes.com is the main website. We have another website under construction called Hidden Mountain Tiny Villas.com. So that'll be open very soon. If not, they can reach out to me at Doug@timbercrafttinyhomes.com, and I'll be happy to answer the questions, send them photos, floor plans, lot layout, all of that. So
it's perfect. Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Mick.
All right, that was my conversation with Doug. I appreciate Doug taking the time to walk us through why they decided to essentially solve an issue for their customers, which is where do you put your tiny home? This is a really awesome community that's coming soon. I love the design for the tiny homes. It's really cool that they're a little bit bigger. They've got fireplaces, they've got porches. You've got a covered parking for your tiny house. I have never heard of that in a tiny house community. That's unheard of. So make sure you reach out, ask questions. You've got Doug's email address. You've got links to everything they're doing in the video description. Thank you again, Doug, for taking the time to chat with us. I'm excited for you all to, reach out, maybe do a tour and learn more about this community. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. And as always, I appreciate you guys so much. I'll continue to find new communities and just new information. If there's anything you want to see, drop it in the comments and I'll check it out. Hopefully do a video of it too. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to think tiny. I'll see you guys in the next one.